Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. This is Ms.Nita Patel, and today we are going to learn the poem which is written by Robert Frost, Dust of Snow. As you can see on the screen, this poem Dust of Snow is a very simple and short poem, yet with a very deeper and larger meaning. The poem explains how an act as pretty as experiencing snow on one's body can brighten one's day. The message of the poem is put into words by Robert Frost himself. Always, always larger significance. A little thing touches a larger thing. I'm going to repeat the same two lines again. Always, always larger significance. A little thing touches a larger thing. The same thing is going to described by the poet in our poem. This is that is Dust of Snow. But before we start the poem, we'll discuss the introduction part of the Robert Frost. Who was he and which kind of method he used to write in his poetry. Robert Frost, the full name of Robert Frost is Robert Lee Frost. So he was a very well-known American poet who was much admired for his depictions of the rural life of New England. His command of American colloquial speech and his realistic verse portraying ordinary people in everyday situations. Frost was honored frequently during his lifetime, receiving 4 Pulitzer Prizes for poetry. So, as we read here, that he was an American poet, and the thing he likes to describe in his poetry, that is a rural life of New England. Rural, that means a village life. So he has depicted a very remote village life, rural life of New England in his poetry, and he was even good in everyday speech and communications. He was very realistic, so he portrayed a very ordinary people in everyday situations. And the same thing is going, same things he, these same things he applied in this poetry as well. Dust of Snow. Okay, here we have the poem, the Dust of Snow. I'm going to read it first, then we'll explain. The way a crow shook down on me the dust of snow from a hemlock tree has given my heart a change of mood and saved some part of a day I had ruined. After reading this poem, we can say it is very rhythmatic, it is very melodious. Okay, so now let's go with the line by line explanation. The way a crow shook down on me. Now look at the first line. What comes in our mind? The image of the crow. So the way a crow shook down on me. So the crow is shaking off something on the poet. Now what is it shaking off? The dust of snow. Dust of snow is a very fine small particles of snow. So the crow is shaking off some small particles of snow over the poet from a hemlock tree. Now hemlock is a very poisonous plant, very poisonous tree, and they have small white flowers as well. So now crow is shaking off some dust of snow over the writer, and where the crow is from a hemlock tree. Now it is not described well here that crow is just sitting over that hemlock tree or he was just passing over that hemlock tree. It is not described here. The second thing is which is unpredictable as well, that the action of the crow. The crow shook down, but how? Whether he was sitting still and some snow was over his body, or whether he was just adjusting himself and over that branch some snow were there, maybe, and that is the reason that that snow fall from that branches on the writer. And another thing is that the writer, the poet, whether he was passing or whether he was sitting ideally, that is even not described here. And second thing which comes in our mind, that is the crow. Look at the word that Frost has used. Crow, not the peacock, not any other happy bird. He has used a crow. Now, crow is considered as a bad omen. Okay, it is considered as a very bad omen. We do it always brings evil news, that the people used to say. And second thing, that is hemlock tree. Now hemlock tree is a very poisonous plant or a tree. Okay, so both the things are very poisonous, very bad and very evil. But something happened to the writer, very joyful, that is snow. Snow is not evil. We will feel happiness if snow fall over snowfall all fall over our body, right? So something happy things is happening with the writer. Now these actions happen. Now what is the result of these actions? It is described in the second stanza. Has given my heart a change of mood. Now, due to this action, due to the action of the crow and falling over the dust of snow from a hemlock tree over the writer, over the poet's body, has given his heart a change of mood. So now the poet's mood has changed. These actions changed the mood of the poet and saved some part of a day I had rued. Rued means had in regret. So the poet is very, poet is in a very sorrowful, very in a sad mood. And these things change his heart. These things change his mood. And the remaining day of the poet was saved due to this action, due to these small particles of snow, due to this dust of snow. Okay, now from this very small poem, we can see that we can feel that a very small thing of nature can change our mood, can change our day. And second thing is that if we consider this, and who has changed this, the day of the poet, a very bad omen, considerable creatures or the nature's part, that is crow and the hemlock tree. Now they are very true to their nature. Okay, it is all just our concept. Okay, we have just taken for granted that the crow are the bad omen. They are considered, we consider them as a bad creature. And even the hemlock tree, though it was poisonous, okay, it has a very bad effect on the human body, but still somehow it can brings happiness to oneself. And that is what the motive of the poet when he has written this poet, Dust of Snow. Okay, as you know that we have two kind of questions which probably is going to ask in the next board examination. First is that figure of speech of any particular poem that we are going to discuss. And the second thing is that 2 marks questions answers. So for 2 marks question answer, I would suggest you that you should read the poem first. You should summarize, you start the reading the summary of the poem, and you should memorize those things. So it will help you to create your own answer, because poem is a very small piece of literature, so we easily can memorize all the things. Okay, for the second thing, figure of speech. Now generally students are very you all guys may find difficulty in figure of speech, because we have number of figure of speech and it is maybe a bit difficult for you to memorize all the things. But what I would suggest that you should go just open your text and write down the figure of speech in front of them, and that will help you in your examination. Okay, so let's discuss the figure of speech that is used in this poem by Robert Frost. The first and very easy figure of speech is used by the poet is alliteration. Now alliteration is a repetition of the same sound at the beginning of the word. Okay, repetition of the same sound at the beginning of the word. These are the examples of alliteration which are used in the dust of snow. Please, students, make a note of it. It will help you a lot in your exam. Has given my heart. Now her this her sound is repeating here at the beginning of this word at this in the same line. So has heart, her sound. Second one is and saved some part. Sa, sa. Got it? Next, inversion. Now inversion is another figure of speech when the structure of a sentence is changed by the poet to create rhyme. When the structure of a sentence is changed by the poet to create rhyme, this poetic license is called inversion. Okay, so generally you may observe that the sentence structures in English we have SVO pattern. Okay, and if it is changed in the poem, that means the poet has used this figure of speech, that is inversion. And the solely purpose of this change of SVO pattern is just this thing. They want to create rhythm, that is for their artificial look, poetic use. Okay, look at these first 3 lines. The way a crow shook down on me, the dust of snow. Okay, and if we want to convey these things in a simple SVO pattern, then what can we say? That a crow shook down on me, the dust of snow. We can say that, but here the poet has changed the pattern, this changed the structure of the sentence. That is the reason it is called inversion. Next, assonance. Now assonance is another thing. The prominence of a vowel sound throughout a line is called assonance. The prominence of a vowel sound throughout a line is called assonance. So in the line you will find that the vowel sound, okay, they are used frequently in the same line. They are very prominent, and that is the reason it calls assonance. For example, shook down on me. So O sound is prominent here. Shook down on me. Okay, so that is the reason it is assonance. Next, enjambment. Now it is very easier. Okay, so when the same sentence is continuing to the next line without the use of any punctuation marks, it is called enjambment. Same line, is continue to the next line without any use of punctuation marks, it is called enjambment. Okay, now in this poem, it has been used throughout the poem. For example, I have depicted all the poem here. Look at this. The way a crow shook down on me the dust of snow from a hemlock tree has given my heart a change of mood and saved some part of a day I had ruled. At the end of the poem, we'll find this full stop. And the line is continuing in the another line, in the second line. Here, the line doesn't end here. It goes on second line. It continues in the second lines. That is the reason it is called enjambment. Okay. Next is rhyme scheme. In figure of speech, you might not find this kind of question, but you might find internal rhyme scheme, or maybe in the unseen poetry section, you might find this kind of question that give the rhyme scheme of the present poem. So how to find the rhyme scheme is very easy. You have to just look out that the last word of the each stanza, last word of each line from the stanza. For example, crow, me, show, tree. Okay, crow, me, snow, tree. Now look at this word, crow, snow. They are rhyming. Crow, snow. Sorry. Crow, snow. So we will put A here. Okay, crow, snow, both are rhyming together. So we will put A here at the end of the line. Second, me, tree. E sound is there at the end of this word. Me, tree. Okay, so it is a bit different from the crow and snow, of course. So we will put B. So A, B, A, B. So the rhyme scheme of this stanza is A, B, A, B. And you have to write in this manner only. Don't write like this. This is wrong. You have to write like this only. A, B, A, B. Okay, got it? Okay. Now in board paper, you will find this kind of question. Choose the appropriate figure of speech. Okay. This is the instructions which might be given on the question paper, and this kind of question would be there. Has given my heart. 4 options would be there. Here, what is that? Assonance, personification, alliteration, simile. Assonance is not here. Personification means non-human beings are treated as human beings. Non-living things as treated as human beings, we call it personification. Now there is nothing like it here. Okay, alliteration, it can be has given my heart. Her. Same sound is repeating, answer is given, I know that, but you have to look for the options as well. Check it out very clearly. Sometimes it happens that you will find option B and C both. So you have to check it out, all the things, all the options first, and then write down your answers. Simile, I hope you remember as or like. If we find as or like in the sentence, that means they are the figure of speech is simile. But here it is not. Okay, thank you so much, friends. Hope you like this video, and if you like it, please give like, subscribe and comment below.